Hey guys, this is a difficult question for a couple of students, so I wanted to quickly just go over it because it's a piece of cake, and I'll prove it to you why it's a piece of cake. These type of questions are series, or I call them series of steps or multiple stages, right? And he's giving you the entire question, and he's saying, hey, what is the enthalpy change for the process shown in equation 1? He's given me equation 1, which is right here, and he's given me a series of steps and certain enthalpy changes, right? So I could just write my equation 1, which is NH3. It's a piece of cake, guys. I'll prove it to you. It's NH3 plus O2 gives me HNO3 plus H2O plus O2 gives me HNO3. I'll write it like this. Gives me HNO3 plus H2O. Now, what you need to understand is look at the first step. The first series that has been given to you is you going from NH3 to NO, right? So I can say, hey, I'm going from NH3 to NO. But the problem is, in the first stage that you are given, you're going from NH3 to NO, but you have 4 of NH3s and 4 of NO, which means that the first equation that's written for you, I have to multiply the entire equation with 4, right? There are multiple ways to do it. I'll do it through both ways. So I'll multiply the entire equation with 4. I get 4 here. Here you had 2 oxygens. 2 times 4 is 8. I'll write 8 here. And then I get 4HNO3 and 4H2O. 4HNO3 and 4H2O, right? A piece of cake. Because see, the starting stage has to do with 4NH3, and the equation that I'm asked for is just 1NH3. So if the starting stage is 4NH3, I have to multiply the entire equation 1 with 4, right? So I multiplied it, right? And so 4NH3 would give me how many NOs? 4NH3 gives me 4 NOs, right? So 4NH3s give me 4 NOs. And what's the enthalpy change for it? That's minus 904. And then this 4 NO further gives me how many NO2s? Sir, 4 NOs gives me how many NO2s? See, again, you're given 2 NOs, and 2 NOs gives me 2 NO2s. So if you have 4 NOs right here, 4 NOs should give me how many NO2s? So it should give you double, right? So 4 NOs should give me 4 NO2s right here. I'll write it. 4 NOs give me 4 NO2s. And what's the enthalpy change for it? See, the enthalpy change right here is minus 114 for 2 giving you 2, but if 4 gives you 4, if this is double, the enthalpy change would be double, right? So it's minus 114 times 2, minus 114 times 2. And then 4 NO2s gives me 4HNO3. 4 NO2s give me 4HNO3, and the enthalpy change is given to you. That's minus 348. And you have to find this x. This is unknown, right? So let's figure it out. So the indirect root equals the direct root. X equals minus 904 plus minus 114 times 2 plus minus 348. What do you get x as? So I end up with a value minus 1408. And remember, this minus 108 is for 4 of this reaction. You just need it for 1. See, he's asked you find this stuff. You've multiplied it by 4. So this x is for 4 of NH3. Right, and you have 1 NH3 here, so just divide it by 4, right? So divide this fella by 4, you get minus 370, and the correct answer is B. Now there's also another way of solving this question, which is, it's up to you how you want to solve it. It depends on how your math is. I always recommend this method, which is whatever is given to you, you want to figure out this for 1, but your starting stage is 4. First multiply this by 4, and at the end of the day, you'll just divide it by 4. Use these values, right? But if your math is good and you're like, okay, I want to do it directly, you can also do it directly. See, NH3 going into NO, you have to now solve it for 1 of the entire reaction, right? Because see, these are 1 NH3 reacting with 2 O2s to give you HNO3 plus H2O, right? So now I don't want to mingle out with this. I'm just going to shift and play around with the enthalpy changes right here. So see, the first starting point is 4 NH3 gives you 4 NO. The enthalpy change for this is minus 904, right? And this is for 4. You need it for 1. So divide this entire thing by 4. So if I wanted to do it for 1, it'll be 904 divided by 4, right? This will give me for 1 NO right here. 1 NO forming, right? Same. And then NO goes into NO2, right? NO goes into NO2. What is that? That's 2 NO going into 2 NO2. That's minus 114. NO going into NO2. Divide this by 2. Right, so that'll be minus 114 divided by 2. And then NO2, 1 NO2 going into HNO3. How much is that? So 4 NO2s going into 4 HNO3. It's this much right here. So if you have 1 NO2 going into 1 HNO3, that'll be this divided by 4. Minus 348 divided by 4. Right? And that's it. you could figure it out. You could figure this x out. And now you don't have to, when you find x, that'll be your answer. Because understand that now you've done it for one of everything. Because this equation 1 that was given to you was for one of everything. I prefer this method, which is pretty easy. You write the equation and then you look at the starting stage and say, hey, there's a difference. The starting stage is for 4 and I have 1. So use the first equation and multiply everything with 4 to match your starting stage. And then in the end, you can just, whatever answer you get for x, just divide it by 4. This has always been my way. And frankly speaking, not a lot of people do it this way. A lot of people will then confuse you with this divide, multiply, and I don't like that. But if you're good in math, you could directly do it. And direct root equals the indirect root. So minus 904 divided by 4 plus minus 114 divided by 2 is the law of summation, right? And then plus minus 348 divided by 4, and this would be equal to x, and that's it. It's a piece of cake. What value do we get? So you should get minus 370. You can calculate it.